Welcome everybody. This is Dawn's 11 o'clock Tuesday class, and we are the easy players. And it's pretty good level 2 class. It's for those people that have actually started with their single-fingered chords and just want to advance to more songs. We're learning a few new chords every time we play, and we have now graduated to taking away the colors. The beginning of the book has the colors, the red, the blue, and the green. And in the second half of the book, we are now erasing the colors so that you get used to just seeing a C chord instead of a red C. Now, that being said, if you want to cheat, it's still okay to cheat, meaning you can take your red colored pencil and just color in the C chord if you want. That's fine. You know, just make sure you get the right colors on the right chords. No worries. Cheating is 100% A-okay. That's the best way to learn, as a matter of fact. You don't have to memorize anything. This is all about just doing it and doing it and doing it. And the more you do it, your fingers will actually remember what they have done, particularly with that left hand. So let's review the left hand. You don't need to look at me. You need to look at this. So we're going to have you looking at the keyboard. I know it's a little awkward for me to sit here, but I will anyway because I want you to see the keyboard. On the left hand, you have a hand position, C, D, E, F, G. Every finger gets a white note. And if you slip those fingers just up into the black keys just a little bit, then you have bumpers so that your hand does not roam around. If you're way down here, first of all, your thumb doesn't reach very well. Second of all, it's very easy to get lost. And then you're always having to look at this hand. The second thing to remember is to keep a little, a pretend golf ball or a rubber ball, here comes Phil, in the palm of your hand, and that keeps your fingers curled nice and loosely. You don't want to be in claw position. Then this muscle gets tight and it gets too hard to play for long periods of time. The third thing to remember is to keep those fingers super glued to those keys. Wow, that's the hard one. That's the hard one, because the thing you want to do is when you hit a C, or when you hit a C, the rest of these fingers want to come flying up. When you hit a G, the rest of those fingers want to come flying up, or an F, then the rest of them want to come flying up. Even if you can manage to stay C and G, these three fingers somehow like the air better than they like to be sitting on the keys. Try to keep them there. That means that if you have to play twice with me, just the chords while we're playing together, just play the chords so you can touch and release, touch and release, touch and release. Now what if I want to hold the chord? Can I do that? Sure I can. I can hold the chord as long as there is no new chord. I can hold that C chord with my pinky all the way to the end of this line. But then you have to make sure you completely release that pinky before putting the thumb down on the G in line 3. If you do not release and you roll from one to the next, what happens? The chord did not change. That's because you did not tell it to stop playing the C chord. So you have to tell it, stop playing the C chord, now we're going to play the G chord. So you must release. You can just press and release and let the instrument do all the work for you. Remember when you're also playing along with me today that you do not want to put on a rhythm or a music style. You only want to put on the easy button. Make sure you have a lower sound. On some of your instruments it'll say left. It'll say left, and you'll have a section that says left over here. The lower, sometimes it's here, sometimes it's here, and they're usually gray. Now what that means is those are the sounds for your lower chords. Your strings and your organs are going to hold that chord, so your organ will hum until you play the next chord. Some of you have a more button where you have things like guitars or pianos. Come on. A different guitar or a marimba. But what happens to these sounds? They die away, and then all you are left with is the bass. So my advice is to be sure to use the organs or the organs and strings so that you get that nice flowing sound. Now, how do you stop this? Two ways. You can reach up and turn off the easy button, turn it right back on, and you're good to go for the next song. Or you can do a no chord. Now, some people like to teach no chord as a smash chord. Ladies, it's not very ladylike to smash your chords. And the other reason you don't want to do that is because it takes your hand off that position. So what you want to do is find 3 consecutive notes. It doesn't matter which 3. Now, 3 white ones are not consecutive because you missed the black ones up here. So it has to be 3 in succession. I personally like putting my thumb on the crack of the F and the G together, and then my pointer can go on that F sharp. See how that just stopped everything? It stopped it. If those are uncomfortable, sometimes if you put these 2 fingers on the first 2 black keys and then your thumb to the G, that'll stop it as well. Then the next time you touch a chord, your chords come back. Find 3 that are easy to touch and just be consistent with those 3. Then the no chord actually becomes a chord on its own. A no chord becomes a chord on its own. It's like the white crayon in the crayon box. I never could figure out when I was a kid what that color was for because your paper was white. So why do I need a white crayon? Well, the no chord is the absence of sound. So what do I need it for? Because sometimes you need to insert it in the middle of a song. Sometimes you just need it for class to turn off your chord. All right, so let's review the chords in Spanish Eyes. Now remember, you do have a page turn. The first page should be easy enough. It's C and it's G. We also talked about a G7, which is optional. The G7 is on top of the box. 7s are always going to be on top of the box. It's a 2-fingered chord with a mathematical formula, and it's always optional. So if you want to add it, it's going to add some spice to your music. It's the letter minus 2 to the left. Remember, you have to count the black ones too. 1, 2. So you must play the F and the G at the same time. If I put my hand back in position, it is pointer and thumb at the same time. What's the difference between a G7 and a G? Well, let's listen to the difference. Here's a plain old G. It's a solid chord. You can start a song. You can end a song. A G7 is F and G. When you play F and G together, your ear is waiting for the next chord. The 7 chord is a lead-in chord for your next chord. 99 times out of 100, a G7 chord goes back to a C. Wow, you're in level 2 and you just learned your very first chord progression. Chord progressions are really nothing except which chord follows another chord. And you're going to find out after a while in your musical journey that certain chords follow other chords. Okay, Godfrey, I think I'm hearing your organ, and that's okay. But do me a favor, put the easy button on. And
okay, thank you.
And I think
sorry.
No, but put the easy button on. I think you'll hear the chord better.
Okay, thank you.
All you're getting is the notes, and
that's true.
Yeah, if you put the easy button on, it's going to give you the full chord.
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome. And no, there you go. Now you got it. Okay. And I just muted you just for a second, just so that the rest of the people will just hear this. But now you've got it. Good job. Okay, let's turn the page and check out the chords on the next page. Now, we did this last week, so this is just a review. There's a C at the top of the page. There's a hidden C7 on line 3. Why is it hidden? Because you're never going to have 7s in a box. If you wish to play the C7, and you can just write it in, it's going to be C with the pinky and B flat with the thumb. Why am I not going backwards like this? Because you never want to go below the C, and you never want to go above the B. You want your hand to stay in that little octave right there, from C up to B, and that's the only place. Here comes Paul. That's the only place your hand will ever be. For easy play chords, you never have to leave that little section. It's just all right here. So instead of going down and playing a C7 like this, so you have to look to get back to your next position, play your C7 in the box, split it up, C on the bottom, B flat on top, or it's optional, don't play it at all, don't worry about it. The F on the last line is just pointer on F, your F minor. Now minors have a mathematical formula as well. Hopefully you guys downloaded my chord charts, because all you have to do is keep those next to your organ, and if you see a new chord, look it up and write the letters and write the number of the fingers if you have to, and cheating is 100% okay. After a while your fingers will get it, but it takes a while. So cheat, write them in. F minor is the letter plus 3 up the keyboard or to the right. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's F and A flat. And did you notice the change in tonality? It's the pointer on F and your thumb on that black A flat. All of a sudden it became a somber, scary movie music chord. Ooh. Minor chords just have a wonderful sound to them. You cannot cheat and just play F. If it is in the box, you must play the chord in the box. The 7s are on top of the box. They're optional. But the minors will always, always, always be in the box. And you must play the 2 letters. F and A flat. Then you have a C, a G7, and a C on top of the next page. And the last 2 lines, in case you missed it last week, the last 2 lines we are absolutely crossing out and throwing away. So the last 2 lines on page 49 we're not going to play at all. So no worries. Okay, I'm going to put this on a beat. You guys just put it on easy. Now the right hand, you know what? Let's just play left hand. I want to make sure you got the left hand going here. All right, so put your easy button on. Make sure you're muted. And let's play Spanish Eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pinky on C. Don't fall asleep, you're still on C. G or G7. Just touch and release. Leave your hand super glued. Got to turn the page. Pinky on C. Don't fall asleep. You're still on C for a very long time. Notice my left hand is not moving. C7, F. 1, 2, 3, rest. F minor. C at the top of the page. G7, or just G. And C with the pinky. All right, if you do left hand alone at least once, especially when I'm playing, because then nobody hears you, and it's just an easy way to get that left hand going. It's like playing along with the radio. Concentrate on keeping those fingers down. If you find your fingers doing this, concentrate on keeping them down. Keep them down, down, down. Keep them down. You want to touch and release, touch and release, touch and release, touch and release, touch and release. Okay, so your hand always keeps this position. After a while, we won't have to look at this hand, but it takes time. You've got to get that hand comfortable first. That's what this level is about. Level 1 and level 2 are just about getting comfortable on the keys. All right, now the right hand, if you were just watching, you noticed I had some tuck unders. The thumb tucks, we always circle the 1. Now the reason we do that is so that it gives you a visual so that you can see in the music, oops, I got to do something here. If I'm going uphill and I circle a 1, that means I have to tuck my thumb under. Tuck my thumb, just tuck it under, and spider the rest of your hand over. You don't want to be doing anything like this. If you have to turn your hand over, shame on you. Now, if tucking under the 4 hurts, you may tuck under the 3. Tuck. But then you have to do it twice. And that's okay. Because we definitely don't want anything hurting. You could also tuck under the 2. And that's okay too. Never tuck under the 5. Why? Because that definitely would hurt. So you may tuck under the 2, you may tuck under the 3, or you may tuck under the 4. In this case, if you tuck under the 4, you only have to tuck 1 time. Let's try the right hand. Now, if you've got both hands, don't let me hold you back. Go ahead and play both hands. Otherwise, just play the right hand along with me. I'm going to count first. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3. Rest. Tuck your thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3. Rest. You had to jump all the way back down. You had to look. 2, 3, 4. Get ready to turn the page. Tuck your thumb. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3. Rest. All the way back down. That's an octave from the E to the E. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Rest. Oh, watch this one. That was a tricky move. Now the A flat. Top of the page. 1, 2, switch fingers. Any questions about Spanish eyes? Are you understanding? Are you understanding the thumb tuck? Yes? I've got you in gallery mode. Heads going up and down. Fred's saying yes. Yep.
Yes.
Melissa saying yes. Yep. Kathleen saying yes. Good. Okay.
Dawn,
Lauren saying good. Okay. Yvonne.
what I need to see is where your fingers are on the F and M on the lower chord.
The lower chord for F and M is pointer on F, thumb on the A flat, which is the middle black key. Okay, pointer on the F. Now you can push your finger all the way to the top of that key. It's going to sound exactly the same. And then your thumb on that black one. So if you have to go all the way up, do it. If you have to twist a little bit, do it. But you've got the whole length of that key to be able to play that. Did you get it, Yvonne?
I do.
Perfect. Perfect. Any other questions?
No.
Nope. All right. All right. Are we ready to move on to Alley Cat? Yes? Okay, Bev. I see Bev wants to move on. All right. Let's do that. Let's go to Alley Cat, which is the next page. Okay. Let's first take a look at the chords. Oh. C, G, you've got a G7, which is optional, F and G. Third line, you have a C. Second ending, you have a C. Then you have an F. Then you have a C. Oh, first page should be no problem for chords. Second page, uh-oh. We have some, wow. Okay, the D is just your fourth finger on D. If you play D7, let me go back to speaker view. It's going to be, remember, it's the letter minus 2. D, 1, 2. C and D. Now go back to your hand position. It's going to be pinky on C and fourth finger on D. Or just play fourth finger on D. That's all you need. The D minor. Wow. That's the one that's in the box. If it's in the box, you have to play it. Remember the rule for minors is the letter plus 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. So it's D and F. Your fourth finger's already on the D and your pointer's already on F. Don't give your left hand a choice. Always have one way to play each chord, and your fingers will thank you later, because when you see a DM, it'll always just be 4 and 2, 4 and 2, D and F. Don't worry about the D minor 7. That means you have to add a third finger. Skip that one for now. Just do the 2-finger 7s. G is just thumb on G. If you want to do G7, it's F and G. Then you have C. Then you have F and G. And then you have a C chord. Now that's where we're going to end the song. We are going to end the song with her alley cat right there. With her alley cat. And that's going to be the end. We're not going to do this. Okay? So no worries. We're not doing the rest of that. So if you want to just cross all that out, you can. Or just put a stop or a fine. You can just put fine. Remember, fine means final or finale. So you can just put a fine, and that means that's going to be the end of the song. Okay, let's take a look. Any questions about chords? Write them in. Cheat. It's okay to cheat. The D minor is the new one. Write in the 7s if you want to. It's absolutely okay to cheat. Let's take a look at the, we have a road map today. A road map. What does that mean? We have a first and second ending and some repeat dots. If you follow the lyrics, it will take you where you need to go. He goes on the prowl each night like an alley cat, looking for some new delight. First ending, you have a bracket and a first ending. Like an alley cat. Then you have at the end of the first ending these 2 dots, a thin line and a thick line. If you want to take a crayon or a highlighter, make it a color. They're about 6 feet behind me, so I'm not going to grab one. Make it a color right there on those dots, and that's going to be your visual cue to go back to. Now hopefully there's a set of dots going in the opposite direction. Whoops, top of the page. There are not. When you go up to the top of the page, there's not a set of dots. That just takes you automatically right here, right between the 4/4 and the first note. Make that the same color, so you go from the dots back up to the top, because now you're going to do verse 2. Verse 2, she can't trust him out of sight. There's no doubt of that. He just doesn't know wrong from right like an alley cat. Well, when you get to the end of the second line, you might actually want to write in a little 2, like make it a color right there, and then make this 2 the same color. And if you want to put a little arrow, you may, because that way you know where you're going. The second time you skip the first ending and go to the second ending. If you want to use a different color, go ahead. Colored pencils, highlighters, whatever works for you. Just don't use the Sharpies, because Sharpies will bleed through and then you're going to wreck the music on the other page. And then you finish the song until it says fine and you're good to go. Done. All right. What else do we have in this song? Ooh, I see some good stuff in the right hand. We have some sharps and we have some flats. Now, the flats, the first one we have is a flat. It's that little baby B sign. Now remember, in easy play music, the flats and the sharps, which is that little hashtag or tic-tac-toe sign, will always be in front of the note that you are supposed to make sharped or flatted. Okay? The baby B sign is a flat, and if you think of a flat tire, it goes down. So the flats are always the first key to the left or down the keyboard from the letter. So if I have an A flat, it's the first black key down the keyboard, or the middle one. Now we just had an A flat in the last song, so it should be, this one should be a little more common for you. A flat. Now remember, every black key, and you can tell on your instrument, there's a hashtag and a baby B, little flat sign, over every single black note. That's because every single black note has two names. Two names. Watch this. This is where I don't want you to get confused. The next note, now we're going to go to a G, then the next note we play is a sharp G, a G sharp. So sharps, well, if I took a sharp tack and put it on my bench, where am I going? Up. I'm going to go straight up. Yes, I am. So sharps send you up the keyboard. Up, here comes Rosemary. Let's get her in. So a G sharp would be, here's the white G. The black one is the first one up the keyboard. Well, guess what? That's the same note as the A flat, isn't it? So don't get confused. In the first line, we're going to have an A flat to a G sharp, which is the exact same note as the A flat. So why didn't they just make it the same for both times? Because they're trying to make it the easiest for us, the easy player, to read. To read. Okay? If they would have put those three G's in a row and put sharp G, G, sharp G, they all would have been on the same line, and you would have had the illusion of staying on the same note. This way you're actually going down. They could have gone back up to an A flat, but then this is an A. So usually when they're going uphill, they'll make it a sharp. Usually when they're going downhill, they'll make it a flat. They're going to do everything in their power in easy play to make it as easy as possible for us to read. So you need to go through and find out where those notes are. Then you have a G sharp. That's that middle black key. And then we have an A sharp. An A sharp is the third in this set of triplets. Oh, that's the same as a B flat. But again, they're doing it to make it easy for us. We also have a C sharp. The last line of that page has a C sharp. It's the first one in the set in the twins. C sharp. Up the keyboard, one key. On page 51, top line, you have another C sharp. At the same line, you also have a G flat, which is the first one. Wow, I think we're going to hit like every single black key here almost. Wow. So that's what this song is about. This song is about getting used to figuring out where these sharps and flats are with the right hand. Let's do some fingering. Get out your pencils. Remember, if you don't like my fingering, it's okay. It's a guide to get you started. Get your pencils out and let's do this. C5, B4, A3, A flat 2, G1, G sharp 2, A3. And you're going to practice this phrase by phrase. Every two measures is a pretty good phrase. G1, G sharp 2, A3, A sharp 4, B5. In those rests, you have a quarter rest and a half rest. That's a total of 3 counts of rests. Somewhere there, put a check mark. That means you are going to lift your hand, take a breath, and move it to a new position. Looking for some new delight is C5, B4, A3, A flat 2, G1, G sharp 2, A3. Wow, that's exactly the same as the first two measures. Very nice. Let's go to the first ending. G1, G sharp 2, A3, F2, and E1. Now if your fingers want to do something a little different, now you cannot slide. You can't do that. You can't go from a black note and use the same finger to slide to the white note. You must have one finger per note. No cheating on this. Trust me on this one. Your fingers will thank you. Let's go to the second ending. G1, G sharp 2, A3, B4, C5. Then you have two rests. If you want to put a check mark, go ahead because we're going to switch fingers. C3, D4, D4, C sharp 3, D4, C3, D4, D4, C sharp 3, D4, C3. Watch that line because you've got the C sharps and you've got C's, and they're both going to be the third finger. Now you can do that because you're not playing them one right after the other. They're in the middle of phrases, so it's okay to share this finger with those two notes, just like we did in Marianne back in level 1. Let's go to the top of the second page, D4, D4, C sharp 3, D4, check mark. D5, C4, B3, A2, G1, G flat 2. Put a circle around that 2. That's going to be your clue that you're going to cross it over. You're going to cross the 2 over to the G flat and then put a 1 on the F. Oh my. That's what Casanova does. Wow. Huh. Okay. I'll go for that. Those of you who know my last name, you know why I said that. Let's go to the second line. C5, B4, A3, A flat 2, G1, G sharp 2, A3, G1, G sharp 2, A3, A sharp 4, B5. Check mark in the rest. C5, B4, A3, A flat 2, G1, G sharp 2, A3. Wow, that's exactly the same as the first two measures in the song. One more time. And line 4, the first measure and a half is G1, G sharp 2, A3, B4, and C5. Do you remember another song in this book that we had similar types of fingering where our fingers were real close together on all the whites and black keys? It was Release Me. Okay, where you had to keep your fingers all squinched up tight together so you could have one finger per note. You have the same thing here. That line right there, like an alley cat. You're playing every white and black note in a very short distance. That's actually called a chromatic phrase. Chromatic just means you're playing every single note in a row. Every black and white note in a row. Do you need to know that word? No, but now if you go on Jeopardy, you'll have the answer. Every black and white note in a row is called a chromatic scale. And then you repeat, looking for some new delight. Remember, you got to keep your fingers all tight together. Here, you got to watch that. Now, if you'd rather put your thumb on the F and cross over the E with the 2, if that's more comfortable, I'm okay with that. If that's more comfortable, do it. You always want it to be the easiest for your fingers. Then we go back to the top of the page. Second ending. Now we're going to switch fingers. So you're going to take a little hop. Oops, I did not put a check mark there. Watch that. Your third finger is doing double duty for the C and the C sharp. Now take a little hop and switch fingers. You have to cross over. You have more notes than you have fingers. If you have 6 fingers on one hand, then go ahead and play it all the way down. How many of you have 6 fingers on one hand? No? Didn't think so. So you have to do a crossover. I don't want to see this. If I see thumb, thumb, poke, poke, I'm going to reach through with my pencil and spank your fingers. No, I would never do that. And then the next line, line 2 on the second page, is just a repeat of line 1. She should tell him scat. Change fingers. And then we're going to end the song right there.
Finish.
Questions so far? This is a little tricky. Little bit tricky. Then when we have to throw in some new chords on that second page, yeah, then that really gets tricky. All right, if you'd like to play along with me, let's do, pick a hand. Pick a hand, left or right. If you want to try them both, go for it. If you start to stumble, what I want you to do is drop one hand out and just finish up with the chords. 1, 2, ready, play. Whoops, hold on. I'm going to mute you all so that you only hear mine. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. Second line. Rest. 3, 4. Rest. First ending. 2, 3. Go back to the beginning. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Rest. Second ending. And we'll stop right there. Woo, tricky stuff, huh? This is tricky because your notes are so close together. It's not like the songs where it was tricky because we had to spread our fingers apart. It's tricky because we have to keep our fingers so tight together. That's what makes this song a little bit harder. Let's go back and do the beginning again. And then next time, the second time we play it now, we will be continuing and finishing the song. So we're going to take the entire song, including the repeat, going back to the beginning. Let me count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Rest. First ending. 2, 3. Go back to the beginning. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Rest. Second ending. Rest. Rest. Switch fingers. Watch this out. You got a 3 on 2 things. Top of the page. Lift. Crossover. And back to the beginning phrases. Two, 3, 4. Rest. Okay, I'm going to put you in gallery mode just so I can see your faces. How did you do? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Lauren, you're not quite sure? You did okay? Oh, okay. You okay. Very good. Very good. David, you got it? No. This is a tricky song. This is a little bit tricky here. Yep. Okay. Hopefully you're playing along, and the more you do this, the easier it will get. Now remember, if it's a song that you don't want or you don't like it because you can't stand cats because your ex-husband had a cat and it drove you crazy, don't play it. Only play the songs that make you happy. Only play the songs you love. Just learn today what you're supposed to learn about your fingers, and you can do something like put your arms around me, honey. We'll give you the same type of a finger exercise with notes really close together, or go back to Release Me if that's a nicer song for you. Alley Cat's just kind of a fun song, but it is tricky, and this is what we are learning is the sharps and the flats and playing one finger per note right in a row. It is a little tricky. We're going to do this one more time, and then I'll let you all go to the beach. I have an announcement before you go to the beach, though. You may choose a hand, or you might try both of them. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3, 4. First ending. 2, 3, 4. Back to the beginning. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Second ending. Switch fingers. Again. Crossover. Second line. Two, three, four. Rest. Okay, give yourself a hand if you did it good. Yeah, nice. Questions from anybody?
Okay, that's one of my favorites because it's in song setup and you could show off with the dead cat.
That's true. That is absolutely true. What Fred's talking about is it's in song setup in some of your instruments, and it is in alphabetical order. I was using song setup for something else earlier. So if I go to Alley Cat and press select, now it's not going to play it for me. It's only going to have everything set up for me. And so now I have this, and I won't play the whole thing. Yes, I know, it's fun. We have big cats, little cats, kittens.
Why did we not do the last line?
Why? Because it's very hard. It's hard. If you want to go ahead and try it, go
Okay.
for it. But it's not necessary. People are not going to say, "Oh, you forgot to play the ending." They're not going to do that, trust me. They're going to be more impressed
I
by the
know.
kitty cat.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions about what we did today? All right. Next week we'll do Edelweiss. go back to the waltzes. Now, I want to remind you all, this afternoon at 2:30, we will not have regular conductor magic class, but we are doing, and I'm going to use the Easy 4, but it will be for all the Easy and SD instruments, the Discovery 2, the Freedom 3, the Easy 1, 2, 4, and the 10, if you could get a lot out of it on the 10. Those of you who saw the virtual all-star performances in one way or shape or form, this is going to be an excellent review. So if you were on one of those virtual all-stars, now some of the stores didn't use this instrument, but I know my store used this instrument, Joni's store used this instrument, and I think everybody else maybe used Premier's. Okay, but it's going to be a good review of what we did on that program. Yeah, so it's going to help you with all the buttons. I'm going to play lots of music. I'm not just going to talk. I'm going to play lots of music, and I'm going to have you guys listening. What elements am I using to enhance some of my songs? And then I'll tell you what they all are. So I'll be using it by playing music as well as by describing what each part of your organ has. And hopefully you'll be able to have your iPad or your computer close to your instrument so you can say, where's that button on mine? Let me see. And look for it, and if you can't find it, you're still going to be able to unmute yourself and say, okay, Dawn, stop. Where is that on my instrument? Okay? Because I want everybody to get to know their instrument very well. Very well.
Dawn, when is that program?
That's at 2:30 today instead of Conductor Magic. And that's 2:30 Florida
Is Robert
time.
going to put?
It's 2:30 Florida time. It's 11:30 Arizona time, and it's, I think if you're in Idaho, it's 12:30. I think you guys are still on a different time schedule.
Is Robert going to put that on Patreon?
I believe he will. Yep. Can you not make it this afternoon, Mr. David?
No, that slot got filled real quick.
Oh, ouch.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I think he will put it on Patreon. Yep.
Okay, very good.
I'll be there.
Okay. All right. You guys are the bestest, and go to the beach and enjoy the rest of the day. Remember, if you have any questions about this or anything else, you can go to your PA, which is your personal assistant. If you don't have a PA, you may email myself at 5028@fletchermusic.com, and I answer any and all emails, and I'm happy to hear from everybody, so do not hesitate. I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Dawn.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you, Dawn.
Oh, bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.